Welcome. In front of me is a TECNO Pova 6 Neo, and today I will go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device and its specs, and also crapping on business practices that TECNO just loves to do. Anyway, I'll just pop it open. There we go. Just have another seal to cut through here. And we can get into the device. Now we can already see some glaring problems, at least for me, that I absolutely hate, which is right here. This is absolute bullshit. And TECNO, you can go screw yourself with this kind of marketing. It's an absolute atrocity, and it's, well, not even that. It's a blatant lie. So it claims that it has 16 gigs of RAM, and there's this bullshit ass asterisk. So it's 8 gigs plus 8 gigs extended. Extended fucking what? What are you extending here? Not RAM, because RAM is a marking for a storage type, like SSD for instance, or NVMe storage. What we're getting here is the 256 gigs of storage converted to additional 8 gigabytes of RAM. But it's not RAM. So it's a bullshit ass marketing lie on front of the box, and I don't care if you put a fucking asterisk on here, it's still a fucking lie. So there we go. Now with my frustration for this out of the way, which I do want to point out, TECNO isn't the only one that is doing that, but they seem to be doing this on every phone for some reason. We can move over to the device itself. Okay, that's glued on here. So we have a warranty, we have a case in here, we have a charger, and along with that we have cable and headphones. And that's it. I mean, I'm saying that's it, but that's actually a pretty decent packaging right here with everything that you will need. Now, taking a look at the charger, this charger is, if I can find the wattage, there we go, 33 watts of power. As you can see right here is the last line on the top side. So that's pretty decent, better than Samsung phones can actually charge when you spend additional money on the charger that you don't get in the box, obviously. You get a charger that can charge your phone faster in the box. Great. So I do want to give props to TECNO where props are due, as this is a good move. Now, taking a look at the device itself, let's start off with the display, as this will be the thing that you will be interacting with the most. So this is a 6.78 inch display running a resolution of 1080 by 2460 pixels. It is an LCD IPS display running 120 Hz refresh rate and a peak brightness, or not peak, typical brightness of 580 nits. It also boasts a 84.5% screen to body ratio with a pixel density just shy of 400. In terms of the display, it's an okay display, nothing really substantial right here. It's nice that it has a high refresh rate. It's kind of crappy that it has a relatively low brightness and that it's an LCD IPS. Now, continuing on into the cameras that are at the back, it looks like we have dual camera setup, though typically that's probably going to be a lie. So let's see. That's odd. So I'm pulling all these information from a GSM Arena, and let me just quickly see. Is it mentioning it here? No, it's also mentioning just one camera, which is quite interesting. So GSM Arena, just like the phone, I guess, marketing right here, states that there is just a 50 megapixel AI camera. So this is a wide sensor with PDAF, supports video recording at 1440p at 30 frames and 1080p 30 and 60. There looks to be another camera below that, but it's not mentioned anywhere where I can find it right now, so it might just be a fake, which wouldn't surprise me, as in their higher end version of it they added 108 megapixel main, but then they added 2 megapixel depth and 0.08 megapixel auxiliary lens, which both those cameras are absolutely pointless. So it wouldn't surprise me if they just literally added a dot in here for the shits and giggles. So let's talk about the selfie camera right here. And in the hole punch camera, you have a housed 8 megapixel wide sensor that, just like the back cameras, can record at 1440p at 30 frames and 1080p up to 60. Now, one thing that I want to point out, which might not be visible on the camera and also might not feel like it, this device actually is a bit chunky. Considering it's made out of plastic primarily, it has some heft to it and some thickness to it. And that is because this device houses a whopping 7,000 mAh battery. That is as much as some tablets have. So it's still relatively thin for how much battery's in here. So that's pretty impressive, I would say. And they actually mark it right here that we have 7,000 milliamps. So yeah, pretty decent battery size right here. Additionally, the device comes with, like I mentioned before, 8 GB of RAM and either 128 or 256 gigs of storage with no expandable storage via the SD card. And I refuse to ever acknowledge anything more than the 8 GB of RAM that this device comes with. Whatever it says on the box is just BS. Actually, no, BS is usually just kind of stretching something. This is just a blatant lie, I would consider, and a misinformation in terms of marketing. So yeah, I don't think that's actually legal, to be honest. Now, if we take a look at the device itself, as I mentioned, it is made primarily out of plastic. So we have plastic back, plastic frame right here, and glass front. So it doesn't really state what the glass right here is. We also have an IP53 dust and splash resistant, though this is a pretty low rating. And what is this? Oh, it was just like some weird dust or whatever. And that being said, at the bottom we have our charging port Type-C. So we do have Type-C charging right here. Our speakers and a headphone jack. Which, like I mentioned before, we do have a headphones that come provided with the device, and they also have a microphone built into them. Now, last thing to mention will be the processor powering this device, and that is a Helio G99 Ultimate. So, processor-wise, not a very powerful device. So last thing, so last thing to see will be the price of this device, which I haven't actually checked it out at all. So I have I have no knowledge of how much it actually costs. So let's check that out right now. And the device comes at about $200. I think that's basically what it equates to. That also includes tax, I want to point out. So for $200 you get this not a very impressive device, I would argue. Now, I will also give you a recommendation because I don't consider this device to be that great of a value. So if you have this device, obviously that's fine. I don't want to like rag on it. I mean, I do when it comes down to the marketing for it. But honestly, it's a semi like budget priced device with a some decent features like high refresh rate for the display and a hefty, and I mean hefty, battery right here. That comes also with a pretty decent charger. 33 watts is nothing to scoff at, and it comes provided with the device. But if you are willing to, you could pick up something like the CMLF Phone 1, which is something that I've been recommending since it came out, as it's a just fantastic value for the money. Now, it will run you a little bit more at about $250, so about $50 more. But because of that $50, you get insanely better device. That is a monumental jump. So in terms of processor, it will be powered by the Dimensity 7300. So that is a significantly more powerful processor. It's basically a mid-range, like a higher mid-range processor. It also comes with a Super AMOLED display instead of the IPS in here. So the colors and the brightness and all that stuff will be way better. The black levels, contrast, just infinite, comparing it to this one, as it's an AMOLED display. It comes with the newest Android, has the Nothing OS on it, so that is a positive, I would say. And one thing that is very cool with the CMF phones, they also have a plastic build quality. Might not look as appealing as this one if you're into this gamery look. So it has more of a kind of like a, here, let me just maybe pull up a picture of it so I can showcase this more accurately, but CMF. So if we look at images right here, you can see in terms of the appearance, it's kind of like a plasticky look. So nothing really like super special right here. There's also good, actually no, this is a case, partially a case. There's like a great photo here, I guess. If it, oh, there we go, it's now sharp. So you can see this is the build. Now what you will see is that it has screws visible, and that is because if something gets damaged with this entire like shell, you can simply unscrew it yourself and buy a replacement and plop it on here. And it also has something like this, which is a screw, which allows you for some things like, for instance, kickstands to be screwed in there. So it has more versatility and all in all, and costs just, like I said, $50 more, but gives you a massively better device with something that no other device has, which is upgradability. So you can replace covers, you can add attachments and stuff like that, which is a pretty cool concept. And all in all, it's a great device, which I recommend checking out if you want to have something that is more powerful than this for really not that much more. So anyway, with that being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.